Hey Brandon, welcome to the 2019 OEC golf event. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing. We'll put you in your dress position and then go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you here in your setup, let's first of all just take a look at your posture. We can see here that your spine is nice and straight and on a tilt. Legs come down into maybe a little bit of a bent position, and then you hold your arms out in front of you and the club works out to the ball. So you're achieving really nice angles, but we have to distribute them a little bit differently, where what I would do here is I would get you to sort of push your tail out and up and then move your head and your chest more forward. What that's going to do, it's going to increase the angle to your spine, and by pushing your tail out and up, it's going to straighten your legs a little. So we only want our legs in an unlocked position, not a bent position. A bent position causes us to sit. And then from there, with your spine on a slightly better angle, instead of holding your arms out away from you, get your arms to hang down and then let the golf club work out to the ball. So we're going to take you sort of from this sort of tall red position where we're bending and sitting and pronating our hands and arms into something that's a little bit more athletic ready, where our head and our chest are a little bit more out over our toes, where we're leaning a little bit more into our golf ball. And this is very important as well, just the spinal position, because what I'm going to talk about with your golf swing is we're going to focus on this spine. So right now, the new position, I've got your spine maybe around, let's say, 43 degrees. Right now you're going to be swinging the golf club on a very vertical spinal position, and what we're also going to see during your golf swing is that you actually, when you rotate up, you don't rotate under, okay? And I'll explain what I mean by that in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and also take a look at your alignment from this angle. And what we can see is we can see that your feet are running in this direction. We carry that out towards the fairway. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance of converging. So you're pretty much set up down the, let's say, the right side of the fairway. So not that much of an issue, but we might see some form of a compensation where you either swing the club on plane, flip the hands to try and draw the ball back towards the intended target, or you come over the top and swing the club from an out to in path. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. And we've got some color-coded lines up on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. Now, first thing I want you to notice before we take a look at the actual physical motion, you can see with Jordan that his spine is definitely angled more forward. His chest and his head are much more out over his toes. His legs aren't as bent, and his rear end is a lot further out away. So that's what I was sort of talking about with the setup. Now, as we take a look at the golf swing, simply you want to draw the golf club back by creating good shoulder rotation, bringing the arms and hands back as well as the golf club. And we want to see the club coming back directly along this red line, so directly on plane. From here, we want to start to incorporate some good wrist hinge into play, where we're transitioning the club head from below to above our hands. And now we're going to work the club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we set the club at the top of the backswing, in Jordan's case, he gets his left arm and the club situated on the blue line. If we have a slightly shallower swing, then the left arm of the club would be on the yellow line, and anything within that little blue-yellow V zone is absolutely fine. Also, we have full shoulder rotation, and we do this about a very stable right leg. With you, as we watch you initiate your takeaway, you can see you already stand up out of your shot. You're pushing your hands and arms out away. So the first thing we want to do is when you draw a golf club back, let your hands, arms, and golf club automatically swing around you. Even if it goes underneath the swing plane, that's better than outside, only because, again, the golf swing is a circular motion. It's going to put you in a shallower step position, which is ultimately going to have a domino effect with your downswing and allow you to come into the ball much more from on plane. So you don't want to send your hands and arms out away from you. As you're sending your hands and arms out away, right elbow folds down and your left shoulder comes up. And now you're starting to shallow the club out, because your subconscious brain knows that you just can't keep taking the club where you are to have any sort of power at all. So you shallow the club out now, club shaft gets in a better position, and right here you can really see you shallow things out. So if you're going to get to here at the top of your swing, which is very, very good, why not just initiate the takeaway whereby you allow everything to move inside anyways, okay? The other thing I wanted to just point out here is that you're rotating on an axis that's just too, let me undo that and just put a straight line. You're rotating on an axis that's just too vertical, so your shoulders are too shallow. what we need to do is we need to get, again, that tail out, get the spine on a better angle, and have the shoulders in a much steeper incline. So rotating your left shoulder under, not up, okay? At this point in time, as we create our transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left, fire the knees and the hip. Whoops, sorry, I wanted to take a look at Jordan's downswing first. So let's get you back up to the top here. So on the left side of the screen, we fire our feet, knees, and hips, unwind the core, fire the hands, and bring the golf club from blue back down onto red. And that's where the golf club originated from, so the golf club's returning back to playing. At this point in time, we can see that golf club back on plane. The other thing we want to observe is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. Refer to that as the backwards check mark. Simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone, and this is what's going to allow him to create a lot of power in the golf swing, let alone getting the club to return back to plane in order to hit the ball straight. In your case, we can see that you set your arms a little bit more shallow on the blue line, which was ironic because you took everything outside and steep to begin with anyways. So again, this position at the top is completely fine. You start your downswing and you have an over-the-top move. So you're pushing your hands out in front of you. You're throwing the golf club away. So ultimately what's going to happen here is this golf club is not going to return back to plane, and it's going to come into the ball too steep. So if we just track the club head here, we can see it go into this frame and then go into that frame. So if we just connect the dots, we can see how steep and over the top that club is attacking the ball versus with Jordan Spieth, he attacks the ball directly from this on-plane position, this red line, which is ultimately going to allow him to hit the ball straight in accordance to his alignment, assuming that the club face squares up by having a good grip. So 3 things we need in order to be consistent. We have to aim well. The feet have to run parallel to our target line. We have to bring the club down on proper plane, and then we have to square the face up by having a good grip. So at this point in time, with the steepness of the downswing, we can also now take a look at the path of the club, and what we can see with Jordan is club's inside the ball. It expands out to make contact and then moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is outside the ball, dropping down and across to make contact. So we can see a very, very different swing path. So very simply put, if you square the club face up to that swing path, you'll hit the ball solid, but the ball is going to go out over in that direction. Okay? If you over-release the club relative to that path, not only will you pull it, but you would pull draw it or pull hook it. If you leave the club face open relative to this path, it won't start as far left, and then if we keep it subtly open, we'll just hit this sort of nice soft fade, which will turn out and everything will be fine. And if we leave the club face too open, we block it out to the right a little bit more. We've imparted now more left to right spin, and we hit a little bit more of a block slice. So the end result of your golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face. Because the club is coming out to in, basically the end result of your golf shot is solely dictated based on what the timing of that club face does through that path. Over release it, it goes down red. Under release it, it follows yellow. Time it perfectly, it'll follow blue, and everything turns out. Anyways, your right heel at impact looks good. It's up off the ground. Let's watch you move through to your finish. Excellent athletic motion through to your finish, and overall you definitely have some nice athletic characteristics with your golf swing. Super powerful, moves well, your hands come back, they fire. You got pretty decent turn coming back, you uncoil through. You've got a great finish because you have good footwork coming through, but very simply, and your alignment's good. Very simply, you really need to work on your swing plane, and you have to change your posture. And you just have to draw this golf club back properly. So when you change your posture and then you get ready to draw the golf club back, let the hands and arms just automatically move more inside. Then when you can create your rotation, if you can rotate and keep your left shoulder working down instead of up, that would be ideal. And at that point in time, you definitely need to learn how to prevent this over the top move, because ultimately that right there is the most important part of a golf swing. When you're attacking it from out to in, you're just going to have a whole variance of golf shots, from pulls to pull draws to pull hooks to pull fades to pull slices, and the ball's just going left, right, and it's very tough to time. So if we want to be consistent, we have to aim well, and very importantly, we have to bring the club down on plane. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you want to work on any of these aspects, I teach out at Glen Abbey, obviously where the event was held. Be happy to structure a program for you. And also if you're involved with any golf tournaments or sit in the committee for any events and you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, certainly feel free to touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services with you. Anyways, I hope you had a great day. I hope the summer's been good, and hope you get a good chance to play a little bit more golf through the fall here. Take care.